Hi everyone, welcome to the Whiteleyverse with me, Connor Whiteley, for another daily short story. Now, before I start today's story, please remember to like, comment and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content, and the engagement really helps the Whiteleyverse with the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you want to buy this short story and any of my other fiction, then they're available from all major ebook retailers and at your local bookstore and local library if you requested, and you can order paperback copies from Amazon. Now, here's today's short story. I hope you enjoyed just as much as I did writing it.
A marketing way to go. Retired Detective Kendra O'Connor had always hated marketing people with a passion. They never ever left you alone, and they were just horrible people who only saw numbers on a spreadsheet instead of the amazing real people that they were trying to sell. Kendra had even dated a few marketing people over the decades, and that never ended well. Kendra had been somewhat aware of how awful, unethical and sickening their methods were. But to see it up close and personal was disgusting. Those relationships rarely lasted long enough for Kendra to solve the case she was currently on back then. As Kendra stood in the wide-open fields of an orange orchard just outside London, she couldn't believe how wonderful it was. She loved the amazing sight of miles upon miles of tall orange, grapefruit and lemon trees stretching on endlessly. The air was such a delicious combination of hints of grapefruit, lemon and lime, so there were probably a few lime trees sprinkled around too. And the entire combination of the smells made the sensational taste of freshly baked key lime pie form on her tongue, just like how her grandmother used to make it. Kendra just knew this was going to be an utterly amazing case. Especially as the motorway and roads were so far away she couldn't hear them. It was such a delightful breakaway from the constant noise, horn honking and shouting of the busy city. Kendra loved the peace and quiet here. As a member of the London Metropolitan Police Cold Case Task Force, Kendra absolutely loved helping to solve cold cases as a retired detective. There was so little paperwork, rules, and the retired detectives really could do whatever they wanted to solve cases. Of course, as all the members were former cops. They all stuck the same rules as normal or active detectives, but Kendra loved it all the same. Especially the bit about no paperwork. Another breathtakingly good burst of the lemon, lime, and grapefruit smell hit her, and Kendra realized that this wouldn't actually be a bad spot to die or hide a body. There was beautiful scenery, and the citrus smell was definitely strong enough to hide the smell of a rotting corpse. Which was why Kendra was here in the first place, waiting for her two best friends, retired Detective Jeff Long and retired Junior Officer Patricia Nelson. Since 5 years ago, Bella Osed had been a top marketing executive at a massive international marketing firm based in London. Then one night she was given the job of promoting the citrus orchard. She came here to visit it, and she was never seen again. Then last year the workers had been tearing down a massively diseased lemon tree and discovered Bella's body underneath. The police were called, and the investigation lasted 6 months before it was turned into a cold case. And now Kendra was really excited about trying to solve it. She had to admit that the police did a great job with the investigation. They had interviewed the family, friends, and co-workers within a day, which was a massive feat considering how big her firm was. But still the case went cold. The police had investigated the orchard from north to south. Yet the owners were away, all the workers had gone home, and the orchard was completely empty. But someone clearly let Bella into the orchard, and then they killed her. Kendra, Jeff, and Patricia just had to find that person. "Morning, Kendra," Jeff shouted. Kendra smiled as she watched both of her best friends walk towards her. She really liked how 70-something-year-old Patricia was wearing a very elegant summer dress with no pattern, but it was colored completely white. It looked really good on her. Then she wasn't too keen, not that she would ever admit it, on Jeff's tennis shoes, trousers, and a thin white shirt that made him look his age. Kendra wondered how their first case was going to go, since Jeff had lost his car in the River Thames, after a little drama. Patricia had kindly picked Jeff up to bring him here, but Kendra could just feel like there was a bit of tension. "What happened?" Kendra asked, as both Patricia and Jeff folded their arms at each other. "Hun, Jeff is a nightmare passenger," Patricia said. "I am not. I am simply a safer driver than you," Jeff said. "For the 1,000th time, going 35 in a 30 zone is not dangerous. I used to go 90 in 30 zone when I was younger." Kendra was never going to get into a car again with her. "What about the deer?" Jeff asked. "It jumped out the way, didn't it, hun?" Patricia said. "Barely, and then you smashed into that stop sign," Jeff said. Patricia just smiled. "Yeah. Kendra, do you and your husband have a need for a stop sign? I think it would look lovely in your living room over your fireplace." Kendra just laughed. She had no doubt that Patricia and Jeff were just as bad as each other. "No thanks," Kendra said. "Let's crack on with the case. Any ideas about who the killer could be?" Jeff shook his head. "Hun," Patricia said. "I haven't, but what do you think about how the body was buried and killed?" Patricia did have a good point. Kendra had wondered why bury a body under a tree in the first place. It was a complete myth that the tree would rot and get rid of the body completely. And considering how close the lemon tree was to the entrance, it was no wonder why the diseased tree had been discovered so quickly and torn down. "What about the diseased tree itself?" Kendra asked. "Do we know when it was first diseased?" Patricia shrugged and took out her very large and expensive and high-tech looking laptop. Kendra was so pleased that a 70-something-year-old could work tech better than her. In an effort to stop feeling sorry for herself about her inability to use, Kendra had rather reasonably bought herself the latest iBlock iPhone or whatever it was called and tried to work it. It failed miserably. Granted, Kendra throwing it against the wall probably didn't help, but it was such a useless gadget anyway. She'll just leave the techie stuff to her husband, her kids, and Patricia. Because whenever a tree is diseased, you need to notify the government and other bodies if the disease is a certain type, Patricia said. The orchard had to notify the relevant authorities immediately. "And?" Jeff asked. "Well, if my computer work is better than my driving, hun, then I can confirm that the tree wasn't diseased when we think Bella was killed 5 years ago." Kendra nodded. That made some sense, because if the killer was even a tad familiar with the orchard and trees, then they would certainly know that the diseased tree would be taken down to prevent the disease spreading. It was a terrible place to hide a body, unless you wanted it found quickly. Which thankfully wasn't the case here, but Kendra couldn't shake the feeling that the disease part was important. "What about the marketing angle?" Jeff asked. Bella was hired to market the place. Could a rival or competitor have killed her? She was well known for transforming companies for the better with her marketing talents. That was hardly a bad point, but as Kendra felt the sun beam down on her more and more, she got the sense that there was equally something more and less to the case than that. "It would have made sense for a competitor to kill her the way they did," Kendra said. "The orchard has suffered since the murder, and the competitors have made more money because of it." Patricia gasped and started typing away at her laptop. "Here, Hans," she said. "Look at this." Kendra looked at the laptop as Patricia showed her and Jeff the types of jobs Bella's marketing firm had been taking on since her death. "What?" Jeff shouted. "You're telling me other people at her old workplace had been accepting jobs from the orchard's rivals?" Patricia nodded, and all three of them had puzzled looks on their faces. Kendra could believe it, partly because it surely made some sense for the marketing firm to do what they wanted, including accepting work from the orchard's rivals, yet considering that these job offers were made and accepted within a day of the suspected murder, and the marketing firm accepted these offers in under an hour of them being made. Kendra couldn't help but feel like this was all planned. Jeff and Patricia clearly made the same connection, judging by the shocked look on their faces. So someone in the rival companies and the marketing firm must be behind this, Kendra said. Jeff shook his head. That still leaves us with the same problem. How did the killer let Bella inside the orchard to kill her? Kendra didn't have a clue, but maybe that was the key. In the police reports she had read on the case, the police didn't find any forensic evidence on the body, or any strange fingerprints on the farm. The only fingerprints they found were the workers and Bella's. How did she die? You never sent me the autopsy, Jeff, Kendra asked. Oh bum. Sorry, Kendra, he said. She died of being stabbed through the chest with a gardening fork. Any traces in the wound? Kendra asked. Patricia clicked her fingers and swiped away at her laptop. Not in the files you two received. But I went into the police archives last night and found a lab report that wasn't filed with the rest of the evidence, Huns. Kendra hated the administrative errors in the police at times. They were rare, but when they did happen they were so critical to cases. Here it is, Huns, Patricia said. The medical examiner found the gardening fork, left traces of a chalk-based soil in the wound. A type of soil that isn't found in this area, and there were trace amount of the same disease that later infected the tree. Kendra smiled. That really was great news because it really helped narrow down their list of possible suspects, because it was clear as day as that the killer didn't live near here, and at least they had something they could use to track him or her. Pat, Kendra said. What other reported outbreaks of the disease was there 5 years ago? I'll go one better for you, Hun. I can narrow it down to cases only in chalk-based soil. Kendra looked at Jeff. He was really smiling, and Kendra knew exactly why he was so excited. They were one step closer to solving this murder. Here. There were 4 cases of the tree disease breaking out in chalk-based soil conditions. 3 were easily contained. 1 spread to the size of an entire forest, but it was all contained eventually with no trees having to be destroyed. Cross-reference that with workers of the marketing firm and competitors, Jeff said. Patricia only huffed. Kendra walked round next to Patricia, and she really loved the amazing smell of lime and lemon and grapefruit in the air. Here, Patricia said. There is only one suspect that lives in an affected area, and she was the person who called in the diseased tree in the first place. Kendra smiled. This was amazing news. A Miss Joanna Fox, the CEO of a rival company, and traffic cameras found her car driving in this direction on the night of the murder, and she got a speeding ticket just 500 meters away from the orchard. Kendra gave Patricia a quick hug, and Jeff gave her a quick kiss. I'll call in the active detectives and get Joanna Fox arrested, Jeff said as she walked away. Before Kendra and Patricia went to walk back towards the car park, Patricia just smiled at Kendra. And Kendra laughed. No, I'm not having your stop sign. As Kendra slowly walked up the stone stairs to her townhouse, something Kendra never ever expected from the murder was her coming home to her wonderful husband with a paper bag full of delicious-smelling oranges, clementines, and limes. But she wasn't going to complain, and that was another great benefit of joining the task force, because unlike active detectives, she actually could accept gifts from people. Kendra had absolutely no idea what she was going to make from it all, but her husband did love marmalade, and she loved key lime pie. So they would probably spend the day together today, cooking. Kendra just smiled, felt her hands turn clammy, and her cheeks warmed at the idea of that. She really loved her husband. As surprised as she was to receive the phone call from Jeff telling her what happened, because he said he might be too busy in the afternoon to tell her. Kendra was really glad he did, because Joanna Fox sounded like a cold, scheming woman. It turned out that Joanna Fox had had a few friends at Bella's marketing firm for years, and she always wanted to be notified if one of her competitors contacted the firm because they were so good. When Joanna had learnt that Bella was being assigned to the orchard, Joanna knew that her company's days were numbered if Bella was allowed to work with them. Then her contacts at the marketing firm told her that Bella always visited the company on the night of being assigned to it, So Joanna broke into the orchard at night and set her plan in motion. All Bella had wanted to do was stand outside the entrance, because apparently she could tell everything she needed to do from how the company represented itself on the outside. But when Joanna had invited her in, she was a bit surprised because it showed that Bella hadn't done any research yet into the orchard's competitors. The second Bella stepped in the orchard, Joanne thrusted the pitchfork into her chest, depositing the disease into her blood and bones, and eventually the tree she planted her under. Kendra was actually rather impressed that Joanna had so much committed to her own company to do all this, but she was extremely glad that Joanna was no longer a threat. And thankfully her company was failing too, and Kendra just knew that Bella could be pleased about that. And hopefully the orchard could finally get back on its feet, probably for the first time since the murder. As Kendra opened her front door and went to enjoy her time with her husband, she couldn't wait to tell him about her and her best friends had helped not only bring a killer to justice, a victim some peace, but also bought back some hope for an innocent orchard who just wanted to improve their business. Kendra always loved helping people, and she had helped a lot today. And if that wasn't a perfect day, then she didn't know or want to know what was.
Welcome back everyone, it's me again, Connor Whiteley. So I really hope that you enjoyed today's story, because I flat out love writing, creating stories and sharing them with you. If you really enjoyed today's story, then please remember to like, comment and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content, and the engagement really helps the Whiteleyverse with the YouTube algorithms. And if you want to buy this short story or any of my other fiction, then they're available from all major ebook retailers, and you can get them from your local library if you requested, and you can order the paperback copies from Amazon, your local bookstore or local library if you request it. Lastly, if you want to support the channel on a one-off basis, then you can now buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Connor Whiteley. Also, if you know anyone who would enjoy today's story, then please share it with them. I'm always really grateful when you wonderful people help us spread the word about the channel. So, thanks for watching the Whiteleyverse, and I'll see you again soon. Have a great day, everyone.